Good evening, everybody. Welcome to season number 3 and episode 7 of the Let's Go Racing Motorsports Report. I am Mike Babicz, your host, and we've got a lot of folks to talk with tonight and some footage that we're going to be showing you of some events that are coming up at Wilmot Raceway this weekend. But I certainly want to start off by thanking Scott Carpenter and B&L Office Furniture providing me with my in-home studio here. Appreciate all of his support and help. He also supports the Bandits at Wilmot, and he also races a Bandit himself, the number 47 car, and he has been known to join me on the microphone on nights that he doesn't have to race. So again, thanks to Scott Carpenter and B&L Office Furniture. Also thanks to Great Lakes Dragaway coming on board right in the beginning with us. Steve Sinclair and the Interstate Racing Association, they had a big event last Saturday night at Wilmot with the annual Founders Night presented by Bodycraft and Mark and Tony Maglio, and we'll be talking with the winner of the Founders Night event last Saturday. We'll be talking with Scotty Neitzel a little bit later on in the program. And as I mentioned, Wilmot Raceway also coming on board. And tonight joining us as a sponsor for this week is the Monster Truck Throwdown. And the Monster Truck Throwdown is coming your way at Wilmot Raceway this coming Saturday. That's right, Saturday, June 1st. No oval track action, however, lots of action and excitement with the Monster Truck Throwdown. And joining us now is Elliot Miller. Elliot not going to be able to join us on video from where he's located, not able to get the kind of service that we would need for video. But we do have him on audio, and we're going to show you a little bit from time to time what things look like for the monster trucks. And first of all, again, as I mentioned, welcome Elliot to the program, and tell the folks a little bit about what they might expect this Saturday at Wilmot Raceway.
Hey, absolutely. First and foremost, Mike, thank you for the invitation to have me on here. We're very much looking forward to coming to Wilmot. It's such a first-class facility, so we appreciate you guys letting us come in and use the venue and put on a show for your customers and hopefully introduce some new fans to the venue and get everybody interested in our shared passion, which is obviously motorsports. So cannot wait. We've been coming to Wilmot Raceway now since 2021. And we are very excited to come back this year with freestyle motocross, an all-new lineup of monster trucks, and we've even got a couple special surprises that will be released later this week, along with a monster ride truck experience that we will offer basically before the show and after the show, where you can actually take a ride on a actual monster truck, fully simulated with gas shocks. And it's a really neat experience for, children and adults and just people of all ages. So very fun, family-filled event, and very much looking forward to it.
Well, and I don't know how much of this you're able to see, Elliot, but we are showing the footage, the video footage that you sent us. And thanks to Kent Jones for making that possible for us to show here on the program. We're going to start doing that more and more as the program moves along this season, of actually having video and occasionally photos as well of different action and different types of competitors. Now, Elliot, I understand obviously you're very involved in promotion of the Monster Truck Throwdown, but you also drive. Tell the folks a little bit about the machine that you drive.
So absolutely, the truck you see on your screen, that is a new truck for 2024. It's called Colossus. Um, Basically, during the lovely 2020 COVID shutdown, we went from having 20 shows on our schedule to, when all was said and done, we did 4 shows. We did a commercial shoot, and that was it. So during that time, it was obviously, hard to sit still. So we kind of, some friends and I, and with a lot of help from a lot of other teams, we put together one race truck, and we ran it. It made its debut in September of 2020, and basically since then we've kind of expanded to 2 race trucks and a ride truck. Um, it just kind of gives us the flexibility and the options to compete at some of the shows that we also help produce and promote. But Colossus is like I said, a new truck for 2024. The body looks a little bit rough. It's been an awesome season. So far we started the season down in Florida, and we competed in about 18 different events, from South Florida all the way up, the Carolinas, Tennessee, um, Alabama, Kentucky. So we're very much excited to be back here in the Midwest. I mean, I grew up just on the other side of Lake Michigan in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So looking forward to just being a little bit closer to the summer, and getting back outside where we always like to say it's bigger and better than go to a show at a little arena.
Well, Wilmot has, you're going to be very surprised. I know you've been coming for a few years to Wilmot, but they continue to make, modifications, make improvements. Last year, you saw the new grandstand that actually came from the NASCAR track in Rockingham, North Carolina. And then this past off season, there is a new front straightaway wall. There is a new front straightaway fence. There's been other improvements made to the infield area, including they've improved even on the victory lane that is in the infield. You're going to be surprised, Elliot, at what you see when you pull into Wilmot on Saturday morning. Or actually, now, again, you mentioned about surprises for Saturday. We may have a surprise for folks in the Wilmot area. And we're still working out the details.
Absolutely.
But Elliot and I have had conversations today, and just be watching the Wilmot Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, my wife Kathy Langren's Facebook page, because for some reason Facebook doesn't like my page, so I have to use Kathy's. But we, if we're able to get it worked out, you just might see Colossus at a town near you. So
Absolutely.
that's all we'll say for now.
Absolutely. No, super excited for that opportunity, just because it lets fans get to come up and take a look at the vehicles and interact with us, and make some memories before hopefully buy tickets to the show to see us on Saturday. So absolutely, Mike.
Now, Saturday, you and I were also talking, and I hope my oval track guys don't get too angry with me. You guys definitely get it that you are in the entertainment business, and not
Absolutely.
necessarily the quote racing business. Even though occasionally monster trucks do race, I've seen them do side by side quote races where they're trying to get across the finish line first after going through a course. But the grandstands, correct me if I'm wrong, are opening at noon. Then you have a pre-race party. It's kind of unusual. The party before the races?
Absolutely. So the track party allows fans and ticket holders, it's free to anyone that has a ticket, to come early, come down onto the track surface, check out the trucks, get up close and personal. You can get the driver's autographs, stock up on merchandise, literally go up and high five your favorite driver and check out the trucks. And basically that starts at 2 and goes right up until about 2:30. We have about a half hour of reset time, and the show basically kicks off at 3. So once we start, there, like you just touched on, we are entertainment. We do race, we do compete, and we are, very, very competitive. But yes, it's not necessarily racing; it's entertainment. we'll do, the wheelies, the donuts, the two wheel skill, forward popper, reverse poppers, and jump the truck up to 20, 30 feet in the air. So as much of a race, that it can be. It's mostly competition and bragging rights, and when the helmet goes on, it's it's really all planning and everything else out the window. So.
Well, I must admit, a number of years ago, Broadway Bob from Great Lakes Dragaway, who I'm sure, Elliot, you are familiar with and
Absolutely.
know of, he got me up there helping to announce a dirt show that he had going on the dirt side of the drag strip up there in Union Grove. And it was, he had a monster truck there. And I don't remember the name of the truck. I should, or the driver. But it had a quote passenger seat. And Bob decided it would be fun for me. Now, Bob didn't volunteer to do it. He volunteered me to announce from the passenger seat with a wireless microphone while we were going through the course that they had set up, including some jumps. And it was kind of funny. I did have a helmet. I was strapped in. All the safety stuff was done. But we went up in the air. When we came down, I kind of bounced up and my head and helmet hit the top of the roll bar.
Oh, man.
And I was fine. But it was, believe me, it's an experience. It is definitely a lot different being inside one of those machines than watching from the outside. I'm not volunteering now, Elliot. I don't know if any of your trucks have a passenger seat. I am not volunteering to do this again.
Well, the race trucks only have one seat, and they have changed quite a bit from the time period that you're talking about with Bob. I grew up an absolute monster truck nerd. Broadway Bob is an absolute legend in the drag world, and he did a lot for monster trucks too. There were some crazy and just flat out incredible monster truck events in mud bogs when Great Lakes Dragway had their facility kind of arranged for that several years ago. But as I said, the race trucks only have one seat, but we've got that ride truck that we won't hesitate to throw you and your family in and take you guys for a ride over the course.
All right. Well, that sounds a little bit more promising for me.
Absolutely.
I know that you are on a tight schedule this evening. We look forward to seeing you Saturday at Wilmot again. The times where folks can go for tickets, because I know advance tickets. And again, we want to just explain to people that Wilmot Raceway and the Kenosha County Fair do not sell tickets for this event. They really have nothing to do with the promotion of this event per se, sort of. And they also don't have anything to do with ticket sales. The concessions will be open. They've got a lot of new food that is available as well. So, we encourage folks to have something to eat and something to drink. This is a daytime show, so keep yourself hydrated on Saturday. We want everybody to have a good time and go home having a good experience. But what are the other times again for folks? And again, the website or where they can go for tickets?
Yeah, so absolutely. Our website is simply monstertruckthrowdown.com. And tickets can be purchased through monstertruckthrowdown.com or wilmotmonstertrucks.com, which is a lot easier to remember. The gates open at noon. The track party starts at 1 and goes until about 2:30 or so. And the show starts at 3. And once the show starts rolling, we should be probably wrapped up by about 5:30, 5:15. We are rain or shine, although the weather looks pretty nice. We are rain or shine. We did a show there in 2021, and it was just absolutely capacity, and it was pouring down rain, and I think it made the show even more entertaining to see the drivers go out there and put on a show for the fans that had waited in the weather with us. So super excited to be back. Very grateful for the opportunity to work with the Wilmot Raceway and the Kenosha County Fairgrounds, and really appreciate you having me on here this evening, Mike.
All right, Elliot. Well, we're going to be looking forward to seeing Colossus perform, and you will be going for the bragging rights for Wilmot for 2024.
Absolutely.
And hopefully you get the win, and you and I will obviously be talking off air to see if we can't get Colossus at an appearance here in the next few days.
Hey, absolutely. So just stay tuned to, like you said, your Facebook, and we'll post it on our Facebook, which is at Monster Throwdown or at Sinistar Motorsports. But it's Wednesday night, so we got to get rolling on that. But can't wait to see everybody soon. And like I said, stay tuned, to all the social media channels for, that special surprise that we're working on.
There you go. That sounds great. And again, that's Elliot Miller with Colossus and with the Monster Truck Throwdown that is going to be this Saturday at the Wilmot Raceway. Again, gates open at noon. On track pre-event party at about 1. And then all the action starts at about 3 o'clock. And again, it's going to be a lot of fun. They're also going to have motorcycles doing jumps and tricks and all that kind of fun stuff as well. So it's not just the monster trucks that you'll see. You'll see motocross type, tricks and flips and somersaults and who knows what, as well as some other, as Elliot alluded to, surprises. So we hope everybody comes out. They do have a special ticket price for children and for youth. So again, go to monstertruckthrowdown.com and check it out. And then you can also click through their schedule. There's another link that you can click on that'll take you to specifically Wilmot's ticket page and information about the event at Wilmot Raceway this coming Saturday. Now, there is no oval track racing at Wilmot this coming Saturday. Last Saturday, though, I'll give you a little report, and Kent will let me know. Hopefully, we're going to have John from Great Lakes Dragaway joining us soon. If not, we may do an alternate, and as soon as we have another guest in the green room, we may just bring him on in, with the exception of last week's Founders Night feature winner, Scotty Neitzel. We're saving him for last. So, again, this last Saturday at Wilmot Raceway was Founders Night presented by Bodycraft. The winner and now two-time Founders Night champion was Scotty Neitzel from Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. Tyler Rankin out of Michigan finished second. And Blake Nemi, who was our guest last week, out of Oswego, Illinois, finished on the podium in third spot. The IRA Lightning Sprint, the 1175 IRA Lightning Sprint feature win went to Brian Strain Jr. out of Paris, Wisconsin, 14 years old. And we understand that feature went nonstop, flag to flag for all 20 laps. And Brian is going to be with us later on in the program. So congratulations to him. And then in the Autometer Wisconsin Wingless Sprints powered by Gandroot Performance and Wilmot Catalyst Exhibits Wingless Sprints at the Wilmot Raceway. They kind of accumulate points in two different groups. It was Tristan Furseth out of Cambridge, Wisconsin. He overtook Rusty Egan during the final 4 laps. The two of them went side by side, wheel to wheel in the non-winged open wheel sprint cars. And it was Tristan Furseth scoring his first career feature win in the wingless. And finishing runner-up was Rusty Egan out of Round Lake Beach, Illinois, who won a feature just a couple of weeks ago. There was a pretty violent and hard flip during that event, early in the event, by Ryan Marshall, who's also been on with us in the past thus far this season. I understand that literally this afternoon, Ryan is working on his new chassis, getting it all together, and does plan on competing this weekend for the Autometer Wisconsin Wingless Sprints powered by Gandroot Performance as the series takes to the road. Friday night, they will be at Eagle Valley Speedway. Saturday night at Cedar Lake Speedway in Somerset, Wisconsin. And then their triple header weekend will wind up on Sunday evening at Angel Park Raceway, I believe they call it, in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. So 3 nights of action for the Autometer Wisconsin Wingless Sprints powered by Gandrud Performance this coming weekend. The bumper-to-bumper IRA sprint cars actually take this weekend off from competing in IRA competition. However, a number of them are expected at Beaver Dam Raceway this coming Friday and Saturday as the World of Outlaws come into Beaver Dam for a doubleheader show this weekend, Friday night and Saturday night. And we've got Gio Scelzi, who's going to be joining us on the program a little bit later on with Scotty Neitzel. Gio is currently 4th in the World of Outlaw point standings. This was after last night's event, this last weekend's event that was held in Fremont. So we'll be talking to Gio in just a little bit. David Gravel is leading the World of Outlaw points by 32 over Carson Macedo. And then Donnie Schatz is in 3rd, 52 points behind Gravel. Scelzi is 4th, 74 points back. And Michael Kofoid is in 5th spot, 100 points back. And again, they're expecting a lot of the traveling drivers to make the trip to Beaver Dam Raceway this coming weekend for the doubleheader. And then in July, we expect many of the same cars and drivers to be coming to the Wilmot Raceway for a doubleheader event in July. And that is going to be July 11th and 12th. There's going to be all kinds of things going on that weekend, actually starting on Thursday night. There's going to be a pre-race event and party and activities and live music on July 11th. And then also on Saturday, July 12th, there's going to be a breakfast, pancake breakfast, put on by Anderson Syrup. And that is one of the main sponsors of Bill Baylog, a past IRA champion, past Founders Night winner at Wilmot, past Wilmot regular season 410 wing sprint car champion, including last year, 2023. And we hope to have Bill on one of our shows probably the week just before that doubleheader weekend that's coming up at Wilmot. You can get advance tickets for the event at Beaver Dam this coming Saturday, and you can also get some as well for this coming weekend. So we currently have Brian Strain Jr. joining us, and we're going to pick up Brian while we hopefully hear from John from Great Lakes Dragaway at some point. Brian, congratulations on picking up the win at Wilmot, and also you got a win earlier this season, I believe, at Sycamore just a couple of weeks ago. Are you hearing me, Brian?
Yeah, sorry, my internet's being a little crappy with the weather outside.
All right, well, we'll give it our best shot here. So, yeah, I just mentioned that you got the win last Saturday at Wilmot, and then you also won a couple of weeks ago at Sycamore.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. That was by far one of my favorite things that's happened recently. It definitely gave me a boost in confidence recently.
Well, and Founders Night is, as I'm sure you found out, or you'll find out when you get your check the next time you run at Wilmot. Mark and Tony Maglio and Bodycraft put some extra money into the purse for all 3 classes that competed on Founders Night. That's been a tradition now they've done the last 2 years. So you might see a little bit extra in your paycheck. Maybe we don't want to tell mom and dad that you got any extra money, though. You can just hurry up, cash the check, and just give them the normal amount, and you get to take the rest. Does that sound like a good idea, Brian?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The checks are written out to my dad's business anyways. So
there you go. Well, first of all, I know a lot of folks have been talking about how young you are. I believe it's 14. Is that correct?
Yeah, I turned 15 on July the 22nd, which kind of sucks because it's a Monday, but.
And now, so far, you've been racing. Tell us a little bit about your racing career. Obviously, right now you're running in the 1175 IRA Lightning Sprints, both at Wilmot and then also at the various outside shows that they have as well. But tell the folks a little bit about how your racing career began and kind of where it's heading so far.
Well, when I was way younger, I used to race snowmobile over at Doug Gust's or Digger's compound. And then, I started that because my dad raced side-by-sides. Then I wanted to start doing that. Well, they ruled his car illegal. So then we got into drag racing for a little bit, sold that, and then he bought a 410 sprint car 5 years ago. Sorry. And then 5 years ago, ever since, we've been racing the wingless because the 410's a little too pricey for us. And then one night, I walked over by Larry New, seen that he needed help unloading his race car, and then him and my dad started talking, and I took interest in the Lightning Sprint. And one night, me and my dad went over there and seen that he had one, and we ended up buying one of his old cars. And then I started racing just last year. It was my first year racing an open wheel car. Got new motor set up this year and doing pretty well so far.
Now, I know when we had Mike New on, we talked a little bit about the different type of engines that are in the 1175 IRA Lightning Sprint series. We've got a few, from what he told me, Hondas. They're just kind of getting started and getting into Lightning Sprint racing. You've got some Suzukis, I do believe, some Yamahas. Am I missing any that I thought there was a fourth?
No, I know that down like Indiana area, you can find a Kawasaki, or John Kirk actually runs a Kawasaki. And then I think in California, they're starting to run BMWs too. I know that's not the most popular because it's hard to find parts for them. But
And now, what kind of engine do you have?
it's a 2021 GSXR 1000 Suzuki.
Okay. So, again, for folks, and Mike did this very well last week. I don't want to put any pressure on you, Brian, but we do have new folks tuning in every week. So maybe you could explain a little bit about what a Lightning Sprint is and how it works and how it's powered.
So a Lightning Sprint is a midget chassis that is cut up and modified so that way you can run chain drive to the rear axle. But your motor sits in there just like a regular bike with custom mounts, and you have a chain drive going down the left side of your car to your solid rear axle. There's like a normal sprint car, there's still brakes only on your left side, and you run 82-inch tires just like a midget.
So now in the past, I believe you did mention that you ran some go-karts at one point. Is that correct?
No, I actually never ran go-karts. I only ran snowmobiles.
Oh, snowmobiles. I'm sorry. I mixed you up with another one of our younger drivers that ran. Actually, I think Tristan ran karts. I think that picked up the wingless win last week. That's what got me confused. So obviously, there's a big difference between snowmobiles and a Lightning Sprint. Are you going to go back to snowmobiles in the winter, or are you just going to stick with the Lightning Sprint, or what's your plans?
No, I'd like to stick to open wheel cars from now on. I haven't raced a snowmobile in who knows how long, but in reality, this winter, my real goal would hopefully be able to find someone to give me a ride for the Tulsa Shootout.
Well, that would be fun for you, obviously. And again, a different type of a venue. I know you're young. You haven't done a lot of racing yet. Obviously, Sycamore is going to have a soft spot in your heart for a long time since that's where you got your first win. And now your second win coming at Wilmot. Which track thus far is kind of your favorite, or you just like them all for various reasons?
I like them all, but to be honest, my favorite track is Plymouth. For some reason, I just like Plymouth, partially because the infield tires, they won't completely take you out if you hit them. And I don't know, it's always just kind of been one of my favorite tracks to run.
And when are you guys scheduled to go up to Plymouth?
Oh, I don't No.
Are you on the June 8th program up there that's combined with the with Road America that weekend? Because the Indy cars, I believe, are there that weekend, if I'm correct.
Let me check real quick. I have my schedule's been all messed up because I've been figuring out schedules to send out to sponsors for the Wing 604 too.
Uh-huh.
So I gotta check to see when we're going up there.
So do you again, I should know this, but in case our listeners, our viewers don't know, do you have to wait till you turn 15 to be able to run the wing car, or can you already run it at 14?
You can run a 604, a wingless and winged at 14. The youngest you can run a car is a Lightning Sprint at 13, but you do need the special waiver by the members of the club.
So they kind of would they have to watch you in a practice when you're on the track by yourself, or how does that work?
So what I had to go through last year is they had to tech my car. They had to go through, do everything. They had to see how fast I could get out of the car. They had to see how fast I could physically, I should say, take off my stuff just in case I'm in fire. And they had to watch my driving to make sure that I'm consistent enough and won't hurt anyone else on the track.
And well, I'll tell you, from what I understand, the race went green to checkered last Saturday night. Unfortunately, I was sitting in Orlando's airport waiting for a flight that was supposed to have left at 9:30 Florida time Saturday morning, which would have gotten me to Wilmot in plenty of time. But I ended up getting on the plane at 7:30 Orlando time Saturday night. And by the time I got home, you guys were all done, probably already had loaded everything up, and the pits were pretty empty, I believe, by the time I got to my house a little after 11 our time. I hope nobody has to go through that experience again. I do want to thank Lauren Kelly and Maddie for jumping in there and filling in for me, and Maya, who's my sidekick now at Wilmot. And she's going to be with me just about every week when I'm on the mic. But believe me, I wanted to be watching you guys race, calling some of the races that night on Saturday night, and I hope it doesn't happen to anybody again. Again, for you, I mean, Sycamore was a big win for you. It's the first one. Founders Night, as you know, as your dad knows, as Scotty Neitzel knows, all of the different sprint car drivers that have raced at Wilmot over the years, is a big deal. It's the 11th annual event. The 410 winner, their name is added to a perennial trophy that is at the Southeastern Wisconsin Short Track Hall of Fame up there in Hartford. So what did it mean to you when you saw that checkered at the end of the race on Saturday night and you knew you had won on Founders Night?
It definitely meant a lot, especially when Mark passed me on that first or second lap. I knew I'd have to work for it, and if I'm being honest, I got completely distracted on what lap it really was when we were racing. I kept checking the flag stand to make sure that the white or checkered wasn't out when I was behind him to make sure I had time. But no, it felt good not only to get my second win, but my second win ever in general, and a back-to-back win this season.
And, we've talked about this with some of the drivers that I've had on before. Wilmot does have a scoreboard, the Twin Lakes Marine scoreboard at the end of just off of turn one. Obviously, you guys got a lot to think about, a lot to do while you're racing. How much do you ever look at that scoreboard, if ever, to see how many laps are left, to see who's running where, who's maybe right behind you? Because you guys don't have radio. Well, you have a receiver radio that Dave Rudolph can talk to you, the race director, but you don't have spotters. You don't have all that kind of stuff like you see in NASCAR or IndyCar or Formula One. It's all running, no pun intended, by the seat of your pants. And, how many times do you get to glance up and see that scoreboard?
Me personally, when I on a track like it was this Saturday, where it was a little bit on the rougher side, I didn't look at the scoreboard once unless it was under yellow, but we didn't have a chance to go under yellow in the feature. But like after qualifying, every time I'll check the scoreboard to see where my time was and compared with everyone else. But usually I personally will only check it under yellow because I'm always focused on the track. Like I know Mark Heinert, he mentioned to me that when he was leading, he kept checking the scoreboard to see who was behind him. And he told me he personally went down to the bottom to try to block because that was the fastest way around the racetrack. And he kept checking the scoreboard and see if I was getting passed or if anyone was passing me or what was going on behind him.
Yeah, well, it is kind of funny. A number of years ago, the Midwest Enduro Series used to have an officials race as part of their season. And I was running, I had won it the year before at Lake Geneva, and I was running in it again the next year. And I went into turn 3, and I admit, I looked over my shoulder to see who was there. And when I looked over my shoulder before I turned back around, I had spun. And the race stayed green. I got going again. And I ironically enough, I ended up second. Yeah, I think I ended up second. And everybody was kidding me. They go, well, you had such a big lead. You did that on purpose, right? You spun just, to make it look good and give somebody else a chance. I was like, no, I didn't. I definitely did not. So I was also told by a number of the veteran drivers, you never look over your shoulder. You just look at what's in front of you and worry about what's in front of you because you got no control over what's coming up on you. And I guess that was kind of good advice. And have any drivers given you any kind of advice that, hey, you're out there racing, don't worry about who's running second or where they are, because you're probably not going to know exactly where they are unless you hear their motor?
Yeah, my dad's definitely helped with giving me the most advice on how to stay focused and what to do when I'm out on the track.
Now, you're only 14. I presume you're still in high school, or did you just graduate, or where you at in your schooling?
No, I'm starting next year. I'm gonna be a sophomore in high school. Actually, once I get off this podcast, I gotta go write an essay.
What's your essay subject?
The environmental impact of e-waste. It's an interesting one.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. So when's the next time we're going to see Brian Strain Jr. on the racetrack in your lightning sprint?
It will be in 2 weeks at Wilmot.
2 weeks at Wilmot. Well, we'll be looking forward to that. I will be there this time. So now I'm going to put the heat on you. You need to repeat what you did last Saturday so I get to interview you. Does that sound good?
I'll try, but I have a slight feeling that the competition's going to start trying to go a little harder on me now that I've won 2 races.
Yeah. Sponsors you want to thank, you mentioned your dad, certainly. Any other sponsors, family members, crew members you want to thank?
My mom, Ackerman, SW Underground, RC Custom Design for getting these 2 cars looking right, Nate Wiedmeyer, and every member of my family that really supports me and comes out to the races and watches.
All right. Well, we appreciate you taking the time. It's kind of appropriate. You got the World of Outlaws banner there behind you. Gee, I wonder where that came from. Anyway, we're going to be talking to Gio Scelzi very soon here, and Scotty Neitzel, who will be competing in the World of Outlaw sprint cars this coming weekend up at Beaver Dam. Are you going to go up to Beaver Dam and watch there, Brian?
We might. We're either going to go up and watch or we're going to take the weekend off and go fishing.
Well, good luck in fishing if that's what you decide to do. Sometimes you do need a little break and a little getaway. or maybe we'll see you up at Beaver Dam. Or, hey, you can come out to the monster trucks, at Wilmot. That sounds like a pretty cool deal that they're going to have on Saturday at Wilmot.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Thanks again, Brian, and we'll look forward to seeing you at the track real soon.
Of course. Thanks for having me on.
That was Brian Strain Jr., winner of the Founders Night 1175 IRA Lightning Sprint feature at Wilmot last Saturday. And then also the winner just a couple of weeks ago at Sycamore Speedway down in just a little ways south of Wilmot. And he, back-to-back feature winners. He's only 14. Got to go do that essay, get that schoolwork done. So, again, we appreciate Brian taking the time to be with us. I'm going to throw a caution, sort of, and Kent doesn't know what I'm doing, but that's okay. He'll wing it with me. We haven't heard from John from Great Lakes Dragaway. I don't know if he forgot that we were on tonight, or not. But I'm going to mention, don't forget Great Lakes Dragaway, Wednesday nights, always ladies' night. From what I understand, the ladies are admitted for free. They get to race for free. There is some bracket racing that goes on between the ladies and the guys and, for bragging rights. And I'm not sure if there's any monetary consideration involved. But that's at Great Lakes Dragaway, Union Grove, Wisconsin. Every Wednesday night is ladies' night. And then taking a look this coming weekend, they've got bracket racing both on Saturday and Sunday this coming week up there at Great Lakes Dragaway. They've got some big events coming up. That will be the Brew City Gassers out of sight drags for pre-1967 vintage drag racing at its finest. That'll be coming up June 28th and 29th. And also June 12th, Wednesday, June 12th, at the Culvers in Paddock Lake, the new Culvers. We're going to have a car show there from 4 o'clock till dark. We're looking for race cars from Wilmot. We're looking for drag cars from Great Lakes Dragaway. John plans on having his car there. We also, hope to have a lot of other folks that'll join us that Wednesday night. So again, Great Lakes Dragaway in Union Grove, Wisconsin, the biggest little track in the world. Phone them at 262-878-3783, or you can go to greatlakesdragaway.com, get all the information and updates. If the weather's inclement, you can always check that out with them. And Great Lakes Dragaway is another one of our sponsors. In Kent, if you've got some of our sponsors, you could show them right now before we go to our next folks. Of course, B&L Office Furniture, Great Lakes Dragaway, Midwest Motor Coach, Olson Transportation, MLS Auto Clinic, Impressions Count. Randy does a great job for us. Weeby Waxen help to keep Kathy's and my cars and vehicles clean, and they can help your car or vehicle or boat. Bodycraft, I just mentioned, Mark and Tony Maglio. They provide the pace vehicle at Wilmot Raceway. And with the IRA Buddies of McHenry, we're going to be out there soon. Keep watching for us. We're going to do some videoing out there at the car shows on Monday nights. And Culvers of Paddock Lake, we just mentioned them. Lake County Honor Flight. I've got the shirt on today. We did a special event for Frank, who was my veteran that I accompanied on the Lake County Honor Flight number 24 about a month ago. Had a great time. Want to thank the Glendale Heights Police Department for working with us in the city of Glendale Heights. They came and spent some time with Frank and his wife Bonnie, and we had just a great time this morning. So again, thanks to them. And Lake County Honor Flight is doing a 25 for 25. Their 25th flight will be in August, and they are working to get folks to donate just $25 toward the flight, toward the veterans, and that will help offset any expenses for the veterans that never cost anything. So again, if you've never done an honor flight, if you thought about it, if you are a veteran, if you know a veteran, encourage them to check out LakeCountyHonorFlight.com. All the information is there. I'm Northern Illinois Council on Alcoholism and Substance Abuse. They can help you also if you're struggling. It was sad that the golfer passing away this last weekend, just 30 years old. again, if you need help, reach out to NICASA. They will help you. They are going to have their annual golf outing June 3rd. And if you want to help with that, check out NICASA's website. And you can also bid. They're doing a silent auction, which includes some race tickets to Road America. So check out their silent auction that is underway as we speak. It just started today and is going to go through the golf outing on June 3rd. That's the Northern Illinois Council on Alcoholism and Substance Abuse. Also want to thank Garrett and A Main Apparel and Diecast and Bill Fusting, who did some racing last weekend up at Great Lakes Dragaway in the nostalgia type cars. Bill, a longtime friend of mine, and Lake County Hose and Equipment, also a sponsor for us here at Let's Go Racing Motorsports Report. So, and Nielsen Enterprises, also don't want to forget them. And 5-Star Race Car Bodies. If you're looking for a job in racing, contact 5-Star Race Car Bodies. They are hiring. Nielsen Enterprises of Lake Villa, they are also hiring. And also Libertyville Manor, where I happen to work during the week, we have some openings as well. So if you're looking for a job, check out Nielsen Enterprises, 5-Star Race Car Bodies, or Libertyville Manor, and we can probably put you to work. If you'd like to sponsor, again, the link was on there. You can get in touch with us, and we can add you to our list as well. Well, we're going to shift over now. It's time to go racing some more, and it's time to go World of Outlaw racing. And joining us right now is Gio Skelzy. First of all, Gio, tell us where you're at, because, again, I appreciate the help of Alex Neaton with the World of Outlaws, who helped arrange this for us today. And but he didn't tell me where you are. Where are you, Gio?
Yep. So our race team is based out of Des Moines, Iowa. I bought a house here about 2 years ago, so I'm in my new home in Iowa.
All righty. Well, we appreciate you taking time. I know it's always a busy time for the World of Outlaws, for the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series when they're on the road. And you're going to be coming into the Beaver Dam Raceway this coming Friday and Saturday for a doubleheader. And also joining us on the split screen from his shop in Beaver Dam. I think we got that clarified last time he was on. And that is Scotty Neitzel, the now two-time Founders Night champion from Wilmot Raceway. He picked up the win last Saturday night. And congratulations to you. We already gave the report a little bit earlier. But I want to just read off this list. And Gio, this will probably impress you, the folks that have won this Founders Night event at Wilmot over the years. Dale Blaney won the first two in 2014 and 15. Bill Baylog won in 2016, 17, and 20. Bill now racing, of course, with the World of Outlaws as a rookie this season and doing quite well. Had, I believe, a top 6 finish in the last World of Outlaw event at Fremont, Ohio. Jake Blackhurst, who is the current IRA point leader, he won in 2018. Jeremy Schultz in 2019. Danny Schlafer in 2022. Brenham Crouch from Texas, last year's IRA champion, also won at Wilmot in the Founders Night in 2023. And Scotty Neitzel, now joining the two-time winners, having won in 2021 and also this year. So, Gio, I'm sure you won't mind. I'm going to let Scotty kind of talk first a little bit about his win last Saturday at Wilmot. And I know, Gio, you'll probably listen in a little bit because you guys are coming to Wilmot in July for a 2-day show with the World of Outlaws. So, Scotty, first of all, congratulations on the win. I was definitely sorry I couldn't be there to help call it, and congratulate you in person. The Founders Trophy is definitely a neat deal put on by the Southeastern Wisconsin Short Track Hall of Fame, where that trophy will be on display once we get the plate updated. And tell the folks a little bit about your run last Saturday.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show, Mike. I don't know. We just had a good car. I think we started in outside second row. Got kind of a slow start. I think I backed up a couple of spots on the start, and caution came maybe 10 laps in or so, and I just started looking for the cleanest spot on the racetrack I could find, and it was a little lower than I had been running. I went down there and worked good on the caution. We got a couple of cars past. I think we might have got another caution or so, and 46 car was leading, and he started racing just a little defensive maybe. He probably didn't know where I was going. He probably heard me a little lower on the racetrack, and he was, and opportunity opened up to go around him, and I raced around him, and that was kind of that, I guess. So we had a pretty good race car. I heard the 16 car sneaking up, on the outside of me a little bit as the race got near the end, and I had to change my lane a little bit again. I just had to open up my corner a little bit, and it all worked out. So.
Well, I know now this is the second win for you on Founders Night, and I know when we had John just a couple of weeks ago, you were saying that I'm not having quite the season I want just yet. I'm doing okay, but I'd like to be doing a little bit better. This win Saturday night's got to give you a big boost now, heading into Beaver Dam this weekend, where you're going to compete with the World of Outlaws, and then also heading up to Plymouth on I believe it is June 8th. They got the big event that's in conjunction with Road America and having the Indy cars in town.
Yeah, absolutely. It was good timing for us. I think we actually probably should have won last week at Plymouth there. I didn't get the best start. Blake ended up winning that race. He did a great job. He moved around the racetrack a lot. He did a great job. I think we probably should have won that race, but is what it is. It's good momentum, I guess, coming into a race at Beaver Dam, but when the World of Outlaws come to town, it's a whole different game. Everything changes a little bit, and I've lived right here in town, most of my life, but Beaver Dam Raceway's never been my strong suit. I think if there's ever a place I've really struggled there, it's been that place. I won my first, 410 race there. I don't know. Gio probably wasn't even born then. It was a long time. I can't remember what year it was. It's been a long time ago. And, I've won one 410 race there since, and I've raced there an awful lot. I've gone across the finish line in second place, backwards, upside down. It's been a disaster for me there for the most part. Things just don't seem to come together. The racetrack really doesn't fit my driving style, but it's right at home. Got a lot of supporters here from sponsors and fans and families. So we seem like we run every other one or so that they have there when Outlaws come to town, with some other commitments we have as well. But looking forward to going there. Got a little different race car this year we've had in a while. So looking forward to going there and trying to compete with the World of Outlaws, and see if we can, for starters, run some good consistent laps to help me with another IRA show we have coming up there. But, first and foremost, try to put the car into show, to support the local team.
Well, this is it'll be the World of Outlaws Jim J.B. Boyd Memorial this weekend up at Beaver Dam. You can go to the website, the World of Outlaws website. There's all kinds of information there on how you can buy tickets in advance. You can also watch it on Dirt Vision. Of course, we want you to come out, be there in person, because it's definitely a lot different to see these cars compete in person. Gio, I know you're doing well. Fourth in points. That's not too shabby with the World of Outlaws, currently fourth. But tell the folks a little bit about your season, how it's been going thus far, and your thoughts heading into Beaver Dam.
Yeah, it started off decent. It's always Florida. I feel like the beginning of the year is tough. I feel like you can dig yourself a really deep hole on those 4 nights at Volusia, but started off strong and kind of in a lull here lately. Haven't timed as good, haven't made as many dashes as we wanted to, but my guys are working really hard to get our engine program figured out and get the car a lot better. So when you unload a little bit off with the Outlaws, it throws your whole night off. So timing bad and digging yourself a hole in the heat race makes it almost impossible to get out of. And
now, you guys run a lot of races. I forget how many are on the schedule for the World of Outlaws during the course of the year. How many is there, Gio?
89, I believe.
89 and probably at least 25, 30, maybe even more than that, different tracks.
Yeah, I think 30 somewhere in there, different racetracks. Yeah, somewhere in there, a lot.
Okay. What kind of added challenges and pressure does that put on you as a driver and your team, running so many nights and different track configurations, different clay? You go from track to track. You might be on red clay one place, you might be on brown clay another place, sandier clay down in Florida. What kind of extra challenge is that for you and your team, Gio?
Yeah, it is for sure. I think, the way I look at it is they're all dirt and they're all round. So they all have similarities to them, and they all have a lot of differences as well. So like you said, going to Florida is very sandy, and up in Wisconsin gets real dusty and dirty and is almost kind of a red tint. So Every region definitely has its own unique qualities and makes it fun going from track to track. But I feel like sometimes racing different tracks every night makes you more versatile. I think, the Outlaw schedule going from New York to Peebly to the Knoxville Nationals, and Outlaw always wins the Nationals. So there's something to be said about racing different racetracks and adapting really quick. Sometimes if you race the same track over and over and over, you get stuck in your ways of being stuck on the same setup and stuck on the same line. And when the Outlaws come to town, they have no preconceived notion of what the track's going to be like. They just adapt to it.
Now, when you come to town, you're only going to be at Beaver Dam twice this year. Just like when you come to Wilmot, you'll be at Wilmot twice this year. Scotty has the benefit of having a pretty good sized book, I would imagine, on Beaver Dam, since that's where he's from, and also at Wilmot, since he's run there a lot. Do you guys ever get the local guys to share their book or share little tips, or is it pretty much, hey, okay, you guys are coming in from the outside, we're not giving you our secrets?
Yeah, no, definitely not. For us, I feel like, my crew chief has a good amount of experience racing around the country. And, I feel like once you get a program working with your race car, whether you're at a Volusia or a Beaver Dam or an Atomic, you kind of run the same setup, in a way. You might change a shock or a bar here and there, but once you kind of get a baseline, you're going to stick pretty close to it.
Now, and I mentioned this one other time, Jim Mullis a number of years ago raced down in Florida when they used to have huge sprint car, it was sprint car weeks. It wasn't really sanctioned by anybody. It was just sprint cars. And they had like 60 cars there in a night. And some young kid from California named Jeff Gordon was there. He was like 15 years old at the time, and it was the first time he came to Florida in a sprint car. But Jim learned a lot that year and came back and put everything he learned to practice at Wilmot, and he won Wilmot's championship. Running with the World of Outlaw guys, Scotty, is that one of the reasons? Obviously, it's your hometown, your home track, a lot of local sponsors, but is it also because even though you don't share a lot of information about car setups and that, you still learn from running with the best? You can't beat the best if you don't run with the best.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun to go there and race with those guys. They race so many times a year, and as Gio has said, on a lot of different racetracks. So, and he's right, they adapt so quick. It's unbelievable to me, But I know even when we race around more so than we do now at a lot of different racetracks, it was easier to adapt to certain things. And for a guy like me at my age, there's also the problem of the same old thing. I've done this so long, it's hard to get out of that groove of this is what we got to do, and just got to really feel the race car and listen to the race car and try to figure out what it needs, to keep it rolling forward. But looking forward to it.
Well, Gio, Scotty mentioned, he was probably running his first races before you were born. How old are you, Gio?
22.
22. We're just having the young guys on here with us old guys tonight, Scotty. I just had Brian Strain Jr. He's only 14.
I was racing a whole lot longer before Gio was around, I guess. I think I won my first race in, gosh, I don't even know. It was in the mid-90s. I don't know, 92, something like that. So it was a long time ago. So, yeah, it's been a long time.
So, Gio, what got you interested in racing, and in particular in World of Outlaw sprint car racing?
Yeah, my dad obviously drag racing, 4-time NHRA world champion. So, he always loved dirt racing and kind of went the drag racing path, never got the opportunities in dirt racing like I did. And his thought was to get us into dirt racing and go-kart racing. And if we wanted to transition into drag racing, we always could, but stuck on the path of World of Outlaws. And saw my first World of Outlaw race, I believe, at Thunder Bowl in Tulare, California, when I was probably 6 or 7 years old. And that's obviously a super high bank, super intense racetrack. And I've been able to win there now, at a young age. So just the raw power and having dirt in your face and the loud engines is something I feel like kids nowadays probably don't like a whole lot, but I'm bred into it.
Now, you mentioned drag racing, and I'm sure you heard while you were in the green room, I was mentioning Great Lakes Dragaway in Union Grove is one of our sponsors of our program here. Have you ever been to Great Lakes Dragaway?
Nope, never been. I got to travel. My dad retired in 2008, so I was only 7 years old when he retired. So I go to any top fuel races I can. We were in Chicago last weekend watching the Austin Proc race, so I'm trying to make the Maple Grove, Pomona, and stuff. Whenever we're near there, I'll try to make it to a Sunday drag race.
Well, Wilmot's not too far from Great Lakes Dragaway, so maybe if you come into town earlier, they race every night but Monday at Great Lakes, so you'd be able to go over there and see something race at Great Lakes Dragaway, and it's maybe 15 minutes from Wilmot Raceway. So, the show's almost wrapping up here. I want to give you both the opportunity, as I always try to do. I'll go with you first, Gio. Sponsors you want to thank, crew members, car owners, anybody you want to thank now's your time.
Yeah, Brett Naring, Matt Barber are two huge parts of this race team, co-owners of my team that started back in 2013 when I was, very, very young. So got to race a long time with another driver and luckily hired me in 2020. So they're a huge part of my race team and the reason I get to race.
All righty. And your car number now for folks that are new to World of Outlaws so they can cheer for you this weekend?
Bright orange, number 18. You can't miss me.
Bright orange, number 18. Well, the other guy here on with you also has an orange car. Scotty Neitzel, folks you want to thank getting to Victory Lane at Wilmot and also getting you on the track up there at Beaver Dam this weekend.
Yeah, first I'd like to thank Mark at Bodycraft from last weekend down at Wilmot. He put some extra money into the purse, not just on top. He spread it through the field in the IRA show. And as I heard on your show here, he put money in all the other divisions as well. So that's really great when them guys put that extra money in there. It really goes a long ways for us teams. I got to thank Emergency Starting and Towing, Northwest Cable Construction, Falby Auto Body, anything and everything, home improvement, Willwood Brakes, KSE Racing, CSI Shocks. All those people have helped me for a long time. Really couldn't do it without them. So, first and foremost, thanks to all the fans, especially all the fans that stuck around at Founders Night there that were at Wilmot. And they'll have a great crowd at Beaver Dam this weekend. They always pack and enjoy it when the World of Outlaws come to town. So looking forward to it.
All righty. Well, Gio, Scotty, we thank both of you for coming on tonight. I do plan on making a road trip up to Beaver Dam since I got the weekend off. There's no racing at Wilmot this weekend. Monster trucks during the day, and I'm going to probably take in the Monster Truck Show and at least part of it, and then hit the road and head up to Beaver Dam on Saturday. Definitely planning on coming up on Friday night. So good luck to both of you this weekend up at Beaver Dam, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, guys. God bless. Take care now. Well, that's going to wrap up this week's show. Again, we hope you enjoyed it. A lot of local racing going on, a lot of different types of racing going on. Of course, Great Lakes Dragaway with the drag racing going on. Also, Wilmot going to host the Monster Truck Throwdown on Saturday afternoon. So, like I say, I'm going to try to sneak over to Wilmot, watch the Monster Truck Throwdown at least for a little while, and then head up to Beaver Dam. And Kathy and I both expecting and planning on going to Beaver Dam on Friday night to take in the World of Outlaws night number 1 of the doubleheader weekend up at Beaver Dam Raceway. More information on the Beaver Dam Raceway and the World of Outlaw event. Again, you can check out the World of Outlaws website. Also, the Wisconsin Wingless Sprint Car Series, a triple header weekend for them. You can go to their website, Wisconsin Autometer Wisconsin Wingless Sprints, or the IRA page as well. So until we see you next time, this is 2 weeks in a row I've knocked the B&L office furniture sign down. Maybe there's something to that. Anyway, until we see you next time, this is Mike Babicz wishing you a pleasant evening. The best of tomorrows. Remember, kids, just say no to drugs. Thanks. Good night. God bless everybody. And let's go racing. We'll see you at the racetrack.
Thank you.